This next speaker is a good longtime friend of mine. We both live in Middleton, Idaho, of all places. And I met her in the midst of a firefight, I guess you could say, between myself and Middleton School District. As my son was enjoying the last few years of school before he graduated high school, I feel like I destroyed the enjoyment that he could have enjoyed while he was going through school. Because every day when I came home and I asked him what was going on in school and what he found unusual, there wasn't one day something went by that didn't need my attention. Not one day. And I was so discouraged because I wasn't being heard and I was being shunned by my school district. And then one day, an angel appeared before me. I'm kidding. Tammy Nichols, now Representative Tammy Nichols. She introduced me to Mila and Tammy and I and Zach and somebody else. Sorry, I can't remember your name. We worked together tirelessly to be able to try to enlighten other parents, and they were very good at keeping us separate. I wanted to be able to tell you this because now she's your representative. Well, my representative, actually. Yay! And if you don't have a representative like that, like I know you do, every district in the state needs a representative like Tammy Nichols. She was born and raised in Boise, Idaho. Tammy knows the importance of hard work, freedom, and what it takes to protect our rights. Tammy just finished her first term in the Idaho legislature, and she works with local and national organizations from all over the U.S. She recently got an award from CPAC for the most conservative voting record. And she's not shy in stirring the pot and speaking up for truth. And you know that coming from me, that's the honest to God truth, because that's how I met her. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce my next speaker, Representative Tammy Nichols from District 11.
All right, thank you, Tom. I just want to start. Can everybody hear me? I speak pretty loud. I have 5 kids, so I'm good at yelling. But anyway, I just wanted to start off really quick with if Wayne Hoffman is still here, or anyone from Health Freedom Idaho, if they would come forward just really quick. I have to tell you just a really quick story, and they said that this didn't count towards my time. So just really quick, I work with a great organization. After I met Tom, I was involved with the fight on Common Core and trying to get Common Core out of our state. And yeah, we're still working on that one, but we're hoping, right? And many opportunities came from that. And I was able to start working with a great organization that was founded back in the 60s with Phyllis Schlafly, the Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, the Eagle Forum. And I had that opportunity to be and continue to be the leader for the state of Idaho for Phyllis Schlafly. I was one of the last people she brought on before she passed away. And the Phyllis Schlafly Eagles has had a long tradition of giving out awards from all over the state, and people are nominated. But I'm a pot stirrer, and I like to kind of broaden my horizons a little bit. So I asked them this last time, when I was back there last September, if I could actually nominate an organization, a couple organizations that I felt gave everything that they possibly can to fight for freedom and for truth and to do what's right in limiting our government and protecting the American people. And they told me I could, because they'd never had that happen before. And these awards have been given out to all sorts of people. President Trump actually received one just a couple of years ago. They've been given out to Representative Steve King, to Ron Paul. There's been some really great people that have also received these awards. And so I want to present these to Health Freedom Idaho and the Idaho Freedom Foundation. They are the eagle because Phyllis Schlafly, she felt that it was very appropriate because eagles they soar. They continue to go, and even in the strongest winds and the hardest storms, eagles are able to fly, and they're able to set their sights and narrow their sights on the things that are important, the things that they're trying to target. And so these say on here that this is with appreciation for your dedicated work to God, family, and country. And it's presented by the Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. So I have one for both the Idaho Freedom Foundation and for Health Freedom Idaho for their work in our state of Idaho. So let's give them a round really quick. Thank you. And I've had these, like I said, since January. So I really wanted to be able to present them now. So, Misty. I'll make sure Wayne gets his. I don't know where he ended up. But, so anyway, thank you for allowing me that. And now I will go into the rest of my speech. Anyway, so like Tom was saying, I grew up in Boise, Idaho. My family was heavily involved in the Republican Party many, many years ago, but that is not where I thought I would end up at all. I was just going to be the mom and, volunteer at the schools and go to soccer games and football games and, work here and there if I needed to. I kind of played around with that, but I grew up in a family where I worked from the time I was 6 years old because they ran schools in Boise. And so, but that was not where I thought I'd go at all. And then around 2010, I really felt this desire. Things were really starting to change in our country, and I could see what was transpiring. And it really frightened me because I had these small little children that I was taking care of and were entrusted to me by God to be able to protect them and to make sure that their future was bright. And the things that I saw happening in our country was not reflecting those desires. And so I had this deep sensation that I needed to get involved somehow, but I didn't know how. And then when my youngest son was in 2nd grade, he started bringing home things from school that said Common Core. And I was really curious about this. I didn't know what it was. And I have a degree, and I was trying to figure out what he was supposed to do, and I couldn't even figure it out. And here he is in 2nd grade, and I have no idea how I'm supposed to help him with this. So I went to his teacher and talked to her, and she was telling me, oh, we have this great new thing that we're going to be doing. It's called Common Core. It's really critical thinking skills, and they're going to learn so much from it. And I'm asking her, well, he doesn't even know what he's supposed to do, so how is this supposed to work? And she's like, oh, you just got to look into it. You'll love it. So that's what I did. I love to research. And so I started researching it, and the more I researched, the more I became troubled with what I was finding. And then the connections that were being made with the Gates Foundation and the Obama administration, and the list just went on and on and on, and I could see that this was not going to be a good thing. And that's what led me into doing what I did. And as Tom said, we found each other, and we found other parents that were concerned, and so we started working together, and we started talking to our legislators and going down to the Capitol and testifying and helping on bills and doing those things. And we were really good at researching. So other organizations started asking us for help, and we did. We loved it. We were really good at helping them out. And one thing led to another, and the doors just started opening. I was able to meet up with the Phyllis Schlafly Eagles and talk to them, and they didn't have anyone in their state to be able to head up that organization, and so I was asked to do that and took that on, and that's been a great opportunity. And then I started working with other local organizations, Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, and some of the pro-life groups, and so on and so on. But anyway, so that leads me to where I am now. I decided to run for office because I really wanted to give a voice back to the people in my district. I really felt that there's this disconnect between the people and their government. And that there are people that want to get involved, they just don't know how or what to do. And they feel like they're not being heard, or that their voices don't count. And I wanted to make sure that that was not the case. And so I decided to run for office. And so I won my seat and won my primary this year. But that leads us to our current situation. We're in quite a interesting situation in our world right now, and I don't know where things are going, but I know that we need to do the things that we can right now to be able to protect our rights and to limit our government and to be able to live and do what we can to make sure that our posterity have a free country and have their rights protected. And so here I am today talking in front of all of you, and I appreciate everybody coming out and doing those things. You may have recently heard about me in the media. I put up a post because I get a lot of information from all over, and people ask me questions. And because I like to research, I look into all sorts of different issues, and I want to know the pros and the cons and the ins and the outs of everything so that I can make informed decisions and that I can pass on informed information to those that contact me. And so a friend of mine had put a post up on Facebook, and I put it on my personal page because I have a public page and a personal page, and I know there's a question about, well, they're all public. But I put it up there, no comment, no anything. And someone took a screenshot of it, and it had to do with someone in the state that had passed away from COVID. But the question was, did they pass away from COVID, or did they pass away from something else but they tested positive for COVID? And the person that originally put this post up was really confused because in the media, some of the media was relaying that this person died from something else, and it wasn't COVID. But then you had media, on the other hand, saying that it was. And so there's confusion. And we all know that there's a lot of confusion going on right now with what's being portrayed in the media, especially on this COVID virus. So anyway, I reposted it, didn't make a comment. Someone took a screenshot of it and sent it out to the media and put it out on Twitter and everything. And the next morning, I had 4 or 5 different media outlets contacting me wanting to know why I put this post out, why did I do this? And they had all these other questions. And I thought, well, that's so weird. I didn't even say anything about it. I just reposted it because I've used my Facebook kind of like a Pinterest where you just save things on it so you can go back to them later and take a look at it. Because I always, when I'm sitting down on social media, and trust me, social media is not a friend of mine, but it's something that we have to utilize to be able to get information out. And so sometimes I just don't have time to look at things right at that point in time. And so I'll save things on there to go back to and read later on and look into it later on. So that's what I did. And I've learned early on that it's safer not to do interviews over the phone or on Zoom or what have you with the media, because they will miscue what you say and twist your words. So I decided, you know what, I'm doing everything through email. I gave them direct quotes. I made it really, really simple. And they still couldn't get it right. They took my quotes and they cut them all up and they moved them to different things and said I answered questions about certain stuff, which I didn't. And said that I said things that I didn't even say because I didn't even make a comment to begin with. And it just reinforced to me that the media is not our friend, that they are out there spewing information that is not correct, and trying to take conservatives especially and utilize things against them to try to, like Jeanette was saying, label lynch. And so that's what transpired. And it must have been a really slow news day to begin with, because I still can't believe this was even an issue. But it made national attention. And then I even got death threats off of it, which was really interesting, because again, I said nothing of the kind. There was nothing that I said. But I had people that had sent me death threats in regards to it. And I asked the media to remove some of the terminology that they used. And one outlet went ahead and did that for me, and the other ones did not. And so I am even more aware now of the media and how they try to portray things. So that leads me to another quick thing, because I know my time's running out. 15 minutes goes by really quick. But how do we trust what we see and what we hear? We have to do our own research. We can't take things at face value that we're being shown through the media or through social media. We have to be able to look into things ourselves and do our own homework and really figure out what's going on in the world, because there's lots of information. I've had the pleasure of working with many doctors during this COVID epidemic, or whatever you want to call it now, and finding out what's really transpiring, what we're really seeing. And we've had in the news the debate on hydroxychloroquine, and I encourage you to look into that. Look into what's really going on. We just had doctors that were in front of the U.S. Supreme Court testifying to the public, doing a press release via social media, telling people that what you're being told is not exactly what the case is, and the hydroxychloroquine really can help. And what did we see? We saw them being silenced. We saw them having their information being taken down. These are doctors, and I guess what we're being told is we can listen to doctors, but they have to be the right kind of doctors. They can't just be the doctors that we trust and that we know are telling the truth. But if they're not stating the agenda that's being driven, then they're not the right kind of doctors to listen to, or the right kind of science to look at. And so these doctors, they had 20 million viewers that looked at their video when it came out, when they were doing it. And in less than 24 hours, all the national Facebook, Twitter, Instagram removed their videos, removed their accounts, banned their websites, did all sorts of things. And why? Why don't they want that information out? It's because they know that there's other information out there, and that people are questioning what's transpiring right now. People are questioning what's happening in our government. People are questioning these mandates and this overreach, and our government doing the things that it's doing. They know that people are thinking, this doesn't seem right, this doesn't feel right, why are we doing this? And they don't want people questioning. They don't want you to question. So I encourage you to please look into things. Please question things. Always question what's happening. Because just like Dr. Franklin said, we only have a republic if we can keep it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming out. If you have any questions, find me. Thank you again, and God bless. Do I get 30 more seconds as Tom is walking up? No, thank you again. And get involved. That's the other thing I always tell people, is to be involved. I don't care how you do it, but somehow get involved in the governmental process. It is your government. It's the people's government. They work for you, so be involved. Thank you.
You see why I'm so proud of her?